everybody, hope you're doing well and welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be going through the 24 most anticipated reads of 2024. So I did this last year and you can check the video up there if you so desire, and then only a couple days ago I went back over the list and told you which ones I had or hadn't read yet and the reviews of the ones I did. Spoiler alert for that video, I only read 4 of the 23, so I did not do good. But I am determined to try and actually get through these books. I've set a reading goal to read at least 12, so at least half of them by like the end of the year, but preferably I would want to read all of them because all of these do sound so amazing and they are my most anticipated reads of the year, so I should be reading them if I'm putting them on this list. But anyway, a couple have appeared twice from last year because I still really want to read them, but some are also new. I only have one book that I haven't currently got yet, and I will tell you that now. It is One Love by Matt Cain. This comes out on the 18th of January and I really want to get it on like publication day. I haven't pre-ordered it yet because I kind of want to go in the store and get it. Just sounds so amazing. It is about these two friends, I believe in like the 80s, I'm not sure, but they are like best friends, and then it goes like 20 or 30 years later and they like meet up again, and one of them is thinking about telling the other that like throughout this whole time he has been in love with him. And I cannot wait. I adore Matt Cain. I have read The Madonna of Bolton this year, is probably maybe the favourite of the year, not 100% sure yet. And I read Becoming Ted last year and that was exceptional. So yeah, I absolutely love his writing, his characters. They're not like the pinnacle of literature or anything like that, but I feel seen and I sense relatability and I just absolutely adore the plot and the characters of his books. So yeah, that is definitely an anticipated read. But all the rest of them I do have physically, because I'm kind of trying to actually get through my physical TBR. That is another goal for this year. But that's what I'm going to say. Anywho, without further ado, let's actually get into the books. So I split it up into categories, and the first I thought I'd quickly go through is classics. So reoccurring from last year is Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I need to read this book. I don't know why I haven't read it. I just don't know why. But it just sounds incredible, and I love books that have this same like story arc, and I just know I'm gonna love it, so I don't know why I haven't read it yet. But anywho, this is set in the 50s in Paris, and a young American is waiting for his fiancée to return, but he meets Giovanni, this handsome Italian man, and he is like, I don't know what to do. Do I go with the man? Do I go stay with the woman? You know, and yeah, this just sounds tragic but beautiful, and I need to read this book. So yeah, that is one undoubtedly going on this list. Now I have another queer book set in the 50s, I believe. A Single Man by Christopher Isherwood. This follows George, who is an English professor in California, and he's heartbroken after the sudden death of his lover Jim, and it just shows how George like carries on and evoking the unexpected pleasures of life, as well as the soul's ability to triumph over loss and alienation. So yeah, that just sounds incredible. It just sounds so good. So yeah, definitely want to read that. Now I've got another classic. These are all like modern-ish classics. We've got The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. I really want to read some more books by Toni Morrison, but I thought I'd start with her debut, her first book, just as like a gateway into her. And this just sounds so like heartbreaking but so eye-opening as well. I just need to read this. It follows a young black girl and in the 1940s Ohio, and she dreams of having like blue eyes and blonde hair, like the white kids in like the town and like school and stuff. And yeah, it says the bluest eye shows how the past savagely defines the present, and I think it's going to be so impactful, and I need to read something by Morrison. So where better to start than The Bluest Eye? And finally, for the classic, I've got The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. This is the original like text that was published, and I also have a copy of the uncensored version, which has more of like the explicit like queer parts and risque parts of the book that were taken out of this one. So I don't know which one I want to read. I think I'm gonna maybe read it in tandem or something. I'm not 100% sure how to read it, but yeah, this just, it sounds so interesting, and so many people adore this classic, and I just know I will too. The story is about a man who has this portrait painted of him, and by doing so it makes him stay younger. Sort of, I don't really know 100% what it's about, but all I know is that I'm gonna love it. So yeah, this is also come over from last year's list. Next we shall do historicals, because I'm in the mood for like, it's similar to classics. Anyway, the first is Like People in History by Felice Picanto. This is apparently like the gay Gone with the Wind. I don't know. Or They're Falling. This just sounds so interesting. It's a chunky one. It's like 500 and something page, 510 pages, I believe. And I don't really like this bright white paper, but we move. This follows Alistair Dodge and his cousin Roger Sansark in like America, and they first meet at 9 years old in 1954, and it chronicles the different years up until the 1990s about what it is like to live as a gay man in American society throughout those different decades. And it sounds just so good. So there are all the books and the years it chronicles. So yeah, from 1954 up until 1991. And yeah, it's about the Malibu Beach in the Palm thing, Fire Island Pines, San Francisco, drawn the gayest area, to the AIDS activism in Greenwich Village. Like People in History presents the heroic and funny saga of the last 3 decades by someone who saw everything and forgot nothing. That was blurbed by Edmund White. He wrote A Boy's Own Story, which is another book I really want to read, but it didn't make the list. But this one I just really want to read. Like, as soon as I saw it in the shop, I was like, I need you in my life, and I have not seen this anywhere before. So this is an endorsement for this book. Next we have In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. This won the Waterstones debut of the year and maybe some other awards, I'm not 100% sure, but this sounds exceptional. And this follows Henry and Sydney, drawn World War One, and it's like a gay love, and it's doomed, and I believe one of them is German. Yeah, or he has German blood. And when I got it, I got the bookmark. So yeah, I really badly want to read this book. I wanted to read it when it first came out, but I just didn't. Don't know why. But anyway, this is certainly going on this list. It was one of the first when I was making my notes. So yeah, I so want to read this so badly. So yeah, In Memoriam. Then we have 2 that was on last year's list as well. Yeah, it's a running theme. Anyway, we have The Vanishing Half by Britt Bennett. This follows two sisters. They're identical, but one chooses to start living as a white woman and one decides to live as a black woman. And it's just about how they like live their life. It says it weaves together multiple strands and generations from the deep south to California from the 1950s to the 1990s. The Vanishing Half is at once a vivid emotional family story and a brilliant exploration of race, gender and identity and the lasting influence of the past as it shapes a person's desires and expectations. So yeah, it's pretty hardcover as well. Yeah, I really badly want to read this book. Clearly I put it on last year's list, but hopefully I'll get to it this year. And then finally for historicals, we've got Shuggy Bane by Douglas Stewart. I was thinking of putting Young Mungo on here just to maybe change it around, but it is Shuggy Bane that still is the one I want to read more. And I just don't know how I haven't read this book, because I remember when I got it in a charity shop for £1 and I was so elated. I was like, I need this in my life right this second, but I just didn't pick it up at all like the rest of that year or all of this year, so we need to change that and actually get to it. But yeah, this follows Agnes Bane is the mother, and it's during the 90s in like Thatcher era in Glasgow, and like they're facing poverty, and Shuggy is the only son left with Agnes, and I believe she deals with like addiction problems. I'm not 100% sure, but and it's about Shuggy and how he is coming to terms with his like queer identity in this harsh environment. And it just, I know I'm gonna cry, but I so want to read this so badly. So yeah, I know this video is going to be long, sorry about that, but I hope you enjoy it nonetheless. Next we shall do like my main category. These are like literary books. Yeah, I'd probably say all of them are literary, sort of contemporary-ish as well, but without further ado, let's get to the stack. The first is Satisfaction by Nina Buari. I read All Men Want to Know this year, and it is still one of my favourite of the year. I absolutely adore it. So I just had to pick up her other work that has been translated, I believe. And this is certainly going on this list. This follows Mim Ackley. I'm sorry, I don't actually know how to pronounce that, but I will look it up. And she's living in Algeria and this repressive society because she is a queer woman, and it's just about how she like navigates life and her complex feelings towards her own son Catherine, who I believe is a woman she falls in love with. I'm not sure. Bruce, who is Bruce, her son's best friend, and the Algerian landscape. So yeah, I think this is going to be absolutely beautiful writing, because All Men Want to Know had beautiful writing, and yeah, I absolutely adore translated French queer fiction, and this was translated from French by Anis Abbas Higgins. Bouari is an Algerian French woman, and I just cannot wait to read this. Also, I love the simplicity of this cover. I think it's really pretty. Next we have two that have stayed over from last year. We have You Exist Too Much by Zaina Arbfat. This follows an American Palestinian woman in New York, Brooklyn, and she just navigates her like life as a queer woman, but also a Arabic speaking queer woman in contemporary society of America, and how the past has like impacted her and her repressed sexuality and her just like fantasies and desires, which are caught up between the cultural, religious and sexual identities. It's a captivating story charting two of our most intense longings for love and a place to call home. So yeah, I cannot wait to read this. I think the title is beautiful, the cover is exquisite, and I just don't know why I haven't picked this up yet. So definitely need to get on that. And then another which has stayed over from last year is Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austin. Just as sounds like such a fun time, but also like it's going to be impactful as well. It follows Gilda, who is 20 something. It's basically, she goes into a church and the vicar or something believes that she is there to apply for like a job, so she takes it, but she is a queer woman, and she is also, I think she doesn't like, an atheist as well, and it just like chronicles her like time, and I think there's also like a mystery element as well that sounds really interesting, and it sort of is just about like her, and she just sounds like such a funny character. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time, but also, like I said, meaningful as well. So yeah, cannot wait. And then quickly, just whilst I'll just quickly go over them again, these are another two that have stayed from last year. We have At Certain Points We Touch by Lauren John Joseph. I got this at Pride in 2022, and when I got it, I was like, I need this in my life. Like, I need this in my life right this damn second. But I didn't read it. Why? I don't know. But this follows a narrator who I believe is genderqueer, or that, well, they use they pronouns. It's the birthday of the man who was something like their first love, and then it also, like, it goes back 10 years about how the narrator and the boy called Thomas James fall in love, and there is ensuing affair. And yeah, so it's a story of first love and last rites conjured against a vivid backdrop of London, San Francisco and New York. A riotous, razor-sharp coming-of-age story that marks the arrival of an extraordinary new talent. So yeah, this just sounds so interesting, and yeah, I need to read this book, and it is just such an exquisitely beautiful cover. So yeah, that's on the list. I'm getting out of breath here. Then we have Patsy by Nicole Dennis Benn, which was last year as well. This sounds just so good. I got this when I was in Bristol, and every time I look at it, I was like, it reminds me of when I went to Bristol. Yes, this follows Patsy, who moves to America from Jamaica because she wants a new life, basically, and like be in the land of the free, and she wants to be reunited with her lover Cicely, but she doesn't plan to include her religious mother and her young daughter True. So Patsy struggles to survive as an undocumented citizen migrant, and True grapples with her own questions of her identity and sexuality, and can she ever forgive or understand her mother for the decision to leave. Then it's a story of what it means to be a mother, a daughter, a woman, and ultimately a survivor. A passionate, moving, and fiercely urgent novel tracing threads of love that stretch across years and oceans. So yeah, sounds exceptional, looks beautiful, and I just cannot wait to read this. I cannot wait to read it so badly. And then we have 3 more new books. Have On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous by Ocean Vuong. This just sounds heartbreaking, but so beautiful as well. It's basically a letter from a son to his mother, but he knows she cannot read. And it involves like the story of the family before like him, about like being in Vietnam and the impact of the war and the family struggle to find a new future, and it also serves as a doorway into parts of the main character's life his mother never knew. Episode of bewilderment, fear and passion, all the while moving closer to an unforgettable revelation. I believe the main character's queer. I'm not 100%, but I've got quite a few of Ocean Vuong's books already, but I just haven't read any yet, and I don't know why, because I just know I'm going to find this writing beautiful and the story is going to impact me. I don't know why. It just makes me feel sad just thinking about the fact that like he's writing it knowing that his mother will never be able to read it because she cannot read. It just sounds so heartbreakingly sad, but also he's going to be so raw and honest, and yeah, I think I'm scared of it is the main thing, because I just know that it's going to impact me probably a lot. But that is that book. Then we have another that I've had on my like want to read TBR for so long. Same with On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, but when I got it, same with that one, I just didn't pick it up for some reason. But this is Concerning My Daughter by Kim Hae-jin, translated from Korean by Jamie Chang. This is I just wanted to read it so badly before, but then when I got it, it just sort of went off my radar. But yeah, this follows a mother who allows her 30-something daughter to move in, as well as her daughter's girlfriend, and it is just about like the complex relationship of a mother and a daughter, well, a mother and a queer daughter, and in like Korea, and just that like relationship and the nuances and the struggles that develop and are put on full show. So yeah, this sounds probably it's gonna make me sad and cry maybe, but I just really badly want to read this so bad. So yep, hopefully I can read this year. And then finally, in the literary category, we have Love Me Tender by Constance Debris. I believe this is really recently came out. This is translated from the French by Holly James, and this just sounds so good. I love French queer women. But this follows is, I don't know if it is autofiction because the main character is called Constance as well, but I shall look into that. But basically her ex-husband finds out that she has started like dating women as well, and he trains their son to like not want to like say he doesn't want to stay with her and stuff, so he can just be with him. And it's just about how Constance is like living just a very simple life, and then she approached a new chapter which is passionately intense and filled with desire and just like the excesses of life. It looks like it's very small, but it's going to be so impactful, I know, because queer French fiction is. So yeah, this is so deserving of a place on this list, and I cannot wait to get to it. Next we have the only like thriller / crime book on the list. I did have a few more that was in my like shortlist in a way of ones that was going to possibly be on here, but because I am definitely in like my like a thriller crime era at the moment, but I don't know if I'm going to continue it. So if I put quite a few on here and I don't get to them because I'm just not interested anymore, then it will make me feel sad. So I've only put one on here, but it's one that I'm very likely going to read very soon, and it's one I'm probably going to like because I absolutely adore this author's second book. This is Girl in Snow by Danica Kafka. I read Notes on Execution in January, and I have loved it ever since. I reread it in November, I believe, and it's up there for one of the best of the year. It is so beautiful and so impactful. It has like the best pacing ever. I adore that book so much. So hopefully I will adore this one as well. This is her debut. It's basically about Lucinda Haynes. She is found murdered in a sleepy Colorado suburb, and it is basically just about the investigation. Basically, it says Girl in Snow is a compelling mystery set in small town America by focusing on those affected by the crime rather than the crime itself, which is a similar theme in Notes on Execution. Kafka asks, what's the difference between who people seem to be and who they really are? I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this. I just can't wait. Yeah, so that's definitely going on the list. Next, we have a mythological retelling. We have Stone Blind by Natalie Haynes. I read 4-ish mythological books this year. Song of Achilles, Circe, Galatea by Madeline Miller, and Piranesi by Susanna Clarke. The last one is a little bit more fantasy than it is. I put it in the video, but it's not. But I really want to read more mythological retellings this year because I adored all of those books, and the one that I'm most excited for is Stone Blind, which is a retelling of Medusa's story. I just think it just sounds so interesting. I don't really know the whole story of Medusa, so I think it's going to be quite interesting going in a bit more blind than some people. And yeah, I'm not really say what the back is because I don't really want to know what it's actually about, but I just really want to read this. And I did have a few more mythological books I was thinking of putting on here, but just in case I don't get to them or want to read them, this is the top one, and I thought I'd put it on there just to diversify what is on the list more so. So yeah, Stone Blind. And next we have the fantasy choice. I'm not a fantasy reader. I haven't really read really many at all. I definitely prefer literary books and those set in the real world, but I have put one on here, and it's one that I am super excited for because I've read other books by her and they were amazing. And if you don't know, it is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. So I have got all of the 3 books: Poppy War, Dragon Republic, and The Burning God. It's a trilogy. I'm only putting Poppy War on here, but I would like to finish. I would like to read the whole series if possible, but they're all chunky, and like I said, I'm not a fantasy reader, so we shall just see. So I shouldn't have really got the other ones without reading this yet, but it's because if I love this and I want to go on, I will. But yeah, this I believe follows Rin, and it's sort of like a fantasy military history novel book thing. I don't 100% know. Once again, I kind of want to go in blind with this, but I do know loads of people that love this series, and I read Babel in, like, I believe it was December last year, and it became one of my favorite of the year. It is such an incredible, amazing book, and I was totally got on board with the magical fantasy-ish elements of that book, and the characters were just done so well and the writing was beautiful. And then I read Yellowface as an arc earlier this year, and that was so good and intriguing, and I just really badly want to read this now. So yeah, this is going on the list, and we shall see how I do with Poppy War and the whole trilogy. Next, I've got a whole stack of books. This is Maya Angelou's 7-part autobiography, and also just a extra book as is my daughter. But I'm only putting the first one on here, which is Stayed from last year. I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. This is obviously her memoir. This details her when she is like a child, and how she is sexually assaulted by someone in her family, and then she stops speaking and she goes to live with her grandma in like the South, and just how it is like being a little black girl in the South of America and growing up, and just her life. I adore this woman. I think she is just so exceptional, and I want to read every single thing that she has ever created, therefore acquiring the whole series. And yeah, I don't know why I haven't picked this up. This is literally a catastrophe. Like, I need to read this book and I need to read it soon. So yeah, this is definitely going on the list. But if you want to know the rest of her autobiography, is also Gather Together in My Name, Singing and Swinging and Getting Merry Like Christmas, The Heart of a Woman, All God's Children Need Traveling Shoes, A Song Flung Up to Heaven, and Mum and Me and Mum. So yeah, I love her, and hopefully I can read the first one. I would like to get through some more, but we shall see. But one poetry book is Bone by Yesterday Ward. This has stayed on from last year. It just sounds so incredible, and I need this in my life. It just basically follows the author as just what it's like to be a queer black woman, I believe, in British society, and I just need to read it. I've wanted to read this for so long, and I need to read it. So yeah, was thinking of putting another poetry collection on here, but I thought I'd just stick to one and just see how I go with it. So yay. Then finally, I've got 2 non-fiction books, and they will wrap up the video. The first is Matthew Todd's Straitjacket: Overcoming Society's Legacy of Gay Shame. I just think this book is just gonna really impact me so much, and I just really badly want to read it. It's meant to be part memoir, part groundbreaking polemic. It looks beneath the shiny facades of contemporary gay culture and asks if gay people are as happy as they could be, and if not, why not? So yep, this idea sort of like queer shame is something I still think about in the back of my mind, and like I was saying earlier, I read The Madonna of Bolton by Matt Cain, and that book exceptionally explores this idea of queer shame, and I just wanted to read like a non-fiction book about it, and it's just been on my radar for so long, and I finally found it in a charity shop, so I was like, instantly, you're coming home with me. So yeah, I cannot wait to read this, and hopefully it's going to be amazing. So yeah. And finally, the 24th book on the list is a reoccurring one from last year. Again, it is All the Young Men by Ruth Coker Burks with Kevin Carroll O'Leary. This talks about the author in 1986, and she is in a hospital, and she sees that, like, I think it's like a red door or something, and nobody wants to go in there because there is, inside the door is a patient suffering from AIDS, and it's just about how we lost so many young men to the AIDS crisis, and how this incredible woman was there for them when their family and friends and the government wasn't, and they was doing nothing. And I just know I need to read this book. I just think it is just such an integral part of queer history, the AIDS epidemic, and I just need to read about what this incredible woman did for so many people at their dying moments. So yeah, it's going to be sad, it's going to make me cry, but I know I need to read it, so it's on there again. So yeah, this is a long video, but I do hope you enjoyed it and you get some recs from this, because these are all books, like I said, I really badly want to read, and they're like my most anticipated ones. So yeah, definitely put in the description below if you have read any of these, and if you would recommend them as well, or like what books you're excited to read in 2024. Yeah, I shall hopefully be doing like updates more on these, but we shall just see how I go with them, because if last year was anything to go by, it weren't good, but I am determined to change it this year. Anyway, really hope you enjoyed today's video, and have a nice morning, evening, night, wherever you are in the world, and I shall see you very soon. Bye.